There's a nice little theme song, you know. Hey, big up that Nita boy. Welcome. For those of you who joining us for the first time, welcome. For those of you who tuned in last week, welcome back. It is 7:03 a.m. in Tokyo, 10:03 p.m. in London and Accra, Ghana. Well, London, United Kingdom, Accra, Ghana. It is 5:03 in New York City and Ottawa, Canada, and 2:03 p.m. in Los Angeles, California. I couldn't get the time for Rio, which is where we're going today. It's a kind of travel show sometimes. So we have a guest with us, joining us virtually this afternoon. I'm sure those of you who are following the Instagram page, ion.tnt, I almost forget the thing, yes, know who it is, but I'll be introducing him a little later. But first, some housekeeping, because I have notes now. We have a real show, is episode 2. It was not a fluke, right? So we had to do the thing right. So let me see. That was the opening greeting. We have that. Right. So thank people for tuning in last week and return. Hey. Look, we're getting things off the list. So last week we had our first show and our first guest, Keshav Chandradat Singh. Once again, thank you, my friend, for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us and having a real good conversation. I really enjoyed that. Not just because he's my friend, but because I think, people deserve to get a little insight into who he is and, what makes him tick. And there were some things I learned about him, even though he's somebody I known for a long time. So I just want to shout out because now I have like 5 screens in front of me that you're not seeing on camera. But I just want to shout out people that tuned in and were contributing to the show last week. Let me see. So I just running down the line in the YouTube comments here. We have Zane Rodolfo. Hey, superstars. What going on here? Zane Rodolfo, Sexy Boss Music. Sexy Boss Music. John Squared. Thank you. DJ Trav. DJ Trav, yes. Well, I was tuning into DJ Trav and Matic Show, The Grind, every Monday here at our radio FM. John Squared again, Zane again. Hey, people was talking, but what going on here? We had engagement. Look thing. Darren Lala, host of Kel Local. I took it in last night too. What? People was having discussion and thing. Look, all you was interested. I feeling nice now. Let me see who's going down the line. Who we have again? Yo. Keshav is so fine. Papa. Pelton Truck and thing. Chromatics was here. Well, Chromatics was here. Truth be told, we have no staff. It's just me and Chromatics running this ship here. Gilligan and Skipper. Gilligan and Skipper on the boat right now. And we're trying to keep it afloat. Which reminds me, remember, there's a link attached to the YouTube chat. If you're looking in on YouTube and not listening on the site, for Donate 68, we really need your help to keep the show going. I know it's the second episode, and we liquor but we talawa. So we want this show to go on for a good while again, and move it from strength to strength. So we're depending on you, because we are no staff, we are no sponsors. We are no interns. It's just me and the boss here. Yet. Just me and the boss here. And, we working it. So good so far. There was one more person in the chat. Let me see, because all it was back and forth. Z7194. You are... Keshav get real... But what going on here, boy? Keshav get real attention last week. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. and took the time to leave a comment and to just pay attention. I appreciate that. Like I say, it's a small show, small amount of personnel here working it. So we looking to do some things in the future, in the near future, that should be interesting. We want to engage the audience a lot more. And we need all you to just keep in touch, drop a line, click a link, smile a smile, like a like. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, we have some segments that we looking to roll out pretty soon. We are trying to launch one today. We're trying to get somebody to call in, but hopefully we'll get them next week and we'll start this thing off right. What else before we introduce this guest boy? I think that is it. Right, so look forward to upcoming episodes. We have some new segments, some new things to engage you all, the audience. Thank you for paying attention so far. And yeah, let me get into it. First, we'll take a little break and have a short word from from the people that keeping us alive now, which is you. So here's a little word from Donate 68.
Need to raise funds for your next creative project, event, or invention? Or maybe you or a family member are raising funds for much-needed medical treatment. Now, you can get started raising that much-needed cash via Donate68.com, the newest 100% homegrown crowdfunding platform in Trinidad and Tobago. Donate68.com accepts donations from all major credit cards, but not only that, for those without a credit card, you can use your everyday Visa debit card to make donations. So log on today and create a campaign for your next passion project, startup, or cause. Share your campaign with your community of family, friends, and supporters to get the financial backing you need. Donate68.com, funding your culture.
I seen you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
How you doing?
I good, man. Just, winding down the day, day done.
Well, right, that is the
Been
thing.
a
I giving people time check and thing, and sorry. Again, I've been told that we need to redo the introduction. You okay with that?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So reintroducing our second guest on Inter International, my friend I'm glad to say, a cultural ambassador, entrepreneur, up and coming businessman, leader of thought. I should also say, intellectual at that. World traveler. Yeah, you knock about some good places in truth. And all around good friend and good soul, yeah. My friend Adam Cooper, aka DJ Foreigner or just Foreigner? Foreigner.
Just foreigner
Just
works.
Foreigner.
That works for me.
With with 5 hours.
I'm glad you counted there.
Right. Yeah, it took a little while. Without the glasses. So foreigner. Why
Foreigner.
what brought about that interesting spelling? Just to force the pronunciation?
With Instagram, it's a little tricky to get the names you want.
Oh,
So
right.
I added the R's at the end, and then in my travels and throughout my life, I've experienced quite a bit of things. One of those things being joining a fraternity at Howard University, the Alpha Phi Alpha Beta chapter. For any Howard folks listening,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
already know
I
the
know
deal.
I know you had a
And
trait in there.
yeah, and my number on that online in that class that I came into is 5. So that 5 is always a reminder of working hard and representing a certain level of standards when it comes to the work here that I do
All
under
right.
this name.
Understood. Well,
Yeah.
we done jump into to the first set of content I wanted to cover, which is your background. So you already touched on the education, Howard University, and that's DC,
hmm
right? So dial it back to childhood days, your initial upbringing, place of birth, primary school, things like that.
Oh, well, I was born in Trinidad, raised in Caracas, Venezuela. I left Trinidad at the age of 5
Mm.
and spent a year in the US, then moved to Caracas, Venezuela, spent the formative years of my childhood in Venezuela.
Mm.
Venezuela in the 90s, Latin America in the 90s in general was it kind of came like a Neverland kind of vibe, the size of the population under 18 was abnormally large from a statistical point of view.
Right.
So when you're in this society of children, it's just the kind of adventures that you get into, in primary school in Venezuela, lets out around noon, around 1. So you have the whole day to just knock about,
Wait, and
So
starting from what time?
for about 7,
All right, fair enough, yeah. Because if we
you
start
know,
like 8 o'clock here and finish around 2 or 3 o'clock, it's kind of the same thing.
kind of the same, So that amount of time being just in the streets of Caracas
Left to your
just
own
allowed for a
devices.
lot of, yeah, parents working, it's just you and other people, children,
Right.
that allowed me to explore a lot of different things, from, and my love for football came from that time.
Mm.
My love for brands and brand marketing and storytelling around brands came from that time. My love for organizing people and bringing people together under common interest came from that time. So when we moved to the US when I was around 12, 13, I got to the US with that kind of energy and that passion
Right.
for all of those things: football, brand marketing, bringing people together. And that is practically the path that I explored through secondary school in New York City, uh, college, went to Howard university, studied marketing there,
Right.
and coming out of Howard is when I was really able to pursue these things in a professional sense. In my career, I've been really focused and committed to being a high performing marketing executive. That's a part of my life that people don't really know about. And that has allowed me to develop the kind of discipline and semi-scientific approach
Mm.
to the kind of storytelling that has developed this idea of foreigner, this persona and this brand of foreigner to what it is now, which is a vehicle for uh, telling Pan-African stories,
Mm.
but specifically through the lens of nuanced Trinidadian manifestations of culture, of entertainment culture. The tip of that spear
Mm.
is an event called Junkyard Juve,
Mm.
which is has become one of the most sought after events in Los Angeles, California, bringing out about 3,000 people twice a summer. Uh, and is a Juve event, but the themes really tell the stories of the political the political elements of mass that I think are really important for us to preserve as carnival and a lot of Caribbean entertainment uh, forces are starting to be commoditized and turn into heavily industrialized products.
All right. Well, we'll get into the junkyard Juve and the myriad of events that you put on as well, both locally and abroad. But I
Oh,
want to ask a question about the history, right? How does a kid there's what 11 to 14, 11 to 15 develop a love for branding and marketing in in Venezuela, running around with a whole set of other kids? How does that happen?
well, when you don't have money, you kind of idolize things you can't get,
Mm.
which is the effect of, consumerist cultures and places that, you know, drive this idea of material equaling success, right? And I think
Mm.
for me, as a child in Venezuela in the late 90s, when Ronaldo was God, right? And Brazil was poised to be, to win their fourth World Cup in 1998. Nike, in addition to several other brands at the time, had done such an amazing job at building this world around football
Mm.
that I was blown away. I really was blown away by that work. Not only the way it came to life on screen,
Mm.
those of us listening and those of us here that are of a certain age may remember that football commercial of Ronaldo and the Brazil team in the
Right.
airport
In the air, right? Yeah,
knocking the
yeah.
ball around.
Mm.
Yeah, when I saw that changed my life. I said I want to make stuff like that. Not only do I
Oh,
want to
wait,
make
hold on.
stuff like that,
You want to make
uh,
you were blown away because you want to make stuff like that, not because you wanted to be a footballer on the team, on the TV, kicking the ball in the airport and doing a cool commercial. You wanted to make the commercial.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I wanted to be in it and I wanted to make it. You know,
right.
uh, but more so just kind of like the art of just bringing that energy to people.
Mm.
Through a screen is something that really stuck out to me. And then there's the emotional effect that having that actual product in your hand,
Mm.
especially being in Latin America where these products weren't necessarily that readily available.
Accessible, yeah.
Yeah, at that time, if you had a Nike football
Mm.
in 1997 in Caracas, 1997, if you had a Nike football, if you had a Nike football, you were a demigod, and it
Right.
was just such a simple product. It was a white ball with just a Nike
With
check
it,
on it.
yeah.
And it was clean and it was shiny, it was glossy, and all of those things just really kind of always stood with me. And when I would start getting into other brands, I would pay attention to all of these different touch points too. Okay,
Mm.
the details of the product, what are they doing, on screen, what are they doing on print, all of these different things I will map out and just remember them, and then they go into these rabbit holes and so on, and understanding the hierarchy. So when I moved to New York City, we moved to Brooklyn, and being a kid,
And you could have
being a
as
high
many Nike
schooler,
balls as you want.
but at that point Nike was out. At this point, it's early 2000s, Brooklyn, right? So
Mm.
we in those days we were very much into designer Italian brands,
Mm.
so having a pair of Pradas, right? Having a pair of Prada sport sneakers in those days, you were a demigod if you had that, right? Having a Vance and leather jacket, right? In those days, you were a demigod. So I couldn't afford those things.
Right.
So paying attention to all of the different elements there. Okay, it's not you have Prada, and then you have Prada Sport, right? You have Vance and Leathers. Okay, that's a motorcycle brand.
Mm.
You wear this jacket so you don't die when you crash,
Right.
but we wear it in the street. What are those things? So all of those different things are things that I studied
Mm.
and crystallized, and just when I stepped into my marketing career, my first job was at Nike,
Well, look at
so
that. Full
having that
circle.
passion and that knowledge, yeah, full circle,
Mm.
having that passion and that knowledge just set me apart and gave me a head start on being able to build brands and tell stories from a branding point of view that yield the results.
You sent any balls? You sent like a case or a container footballs to Caracas.
You know what? At that point with Chavez, everybody was gone. They left.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah. They didn't Shaguanas, no.
Oh well, we'll get into that in a little bit. But
You're right.
so you studied you're into marketing as a general interest, as a passion, from a very young age. I would think, especially having the distinction between wanting to actually make the commercials as opposed to just wanting the things in the commercials or the experience that is being fed to you. And you decide to follow it. You're going to university, well, high school, university. What was your connection to, well, I guess to Trinidad in that regard at that time?
Well, when it comes to having Trinbagonian blood running through you, is like the culture, the cuisine, the music,
Mm.
the customs, the history. It's always with you, especially in a foreign land. We all know how New York Trinis are. They're hyper nostalgic, hyper nationalistic.
Yeah, the flag in the
So
car, the flag
being
in the kitchen, the flag in the window, the flag.
exactly, and my mother, she is very much uh a feta. You know what I mean? Like she never missed playing mass. She was, there in the Poison days. She
Nice.
was, that's her space. So being away from home, the music was her only connection.
Mm.
So her only connection to home and the things that made her feel the warmth of Trinidad. So the music was always there for us,
Right.
no matter where we were. Right.
So that was
And
the
then
soundtrack.
as the soundtrack, right? And then my mother, she's an attorney,
Mm.
right? And she, worked very hard to achieve the success that she's achieved throughout her life. And she attributes that specifically to her work ethic as a Trinidadian woman, right? So that's something that she always brought to my brother and I's attention, and we internalized that and always associated being Trinidadian with a certain level of rigor in our work and the things that the public sees, and that could also be a little toxic in the sense that when you're in people's house or when you're around people, you have to act a certain way.
Yeah, and don't
We've
embarrass
all
me.
heard it, right? But at the same time, it did kind of align our nationality and our heritage with a certain type of excellence, right? And on
Okay.
my father's side, my father's in the steel pan manufacturing business,
Hey,
right?
shout out
And
Mr. Coop, Big Coop.
you already know, right? And understanding that that is a major part of our existence, our ability to go to college,
Right.
knowing that the National Instrument paid for my Howard University degree, it really keeps me focused on always paying back, right? Paying a debt that is owed to Trinidad and Tobago, right? The fact that Pan paid for the things that open doors for me
Right.
always drives me to do things that could kind of bring the right kind of attention and the right kind of opportunities to Trinidad and Tobago. And then kind of like on a more how do you put it? Just on a more casual basis, when I moved to New York, right? Like I said, New York Trinis are just hyper nationalists, right?
Right.
It's like they need everybody to know where they from and what part of Trinidad and what part of Tobago they're from. So
More
when
than
I got to
Jamaicans?
New York in the early 2000s, it was just that passion for carnival, that passion for Juve, that passion for soca just was amplified beyond measure, right? And to this day, I feel as though I can't have a good time unless is Juve and soca is playing, and I think it's a burden, but I wear it, I carry it with pride.
Oh, you poor fella. So you started so you started carry Juve with you everywhere you go.
you know, we've all been there, right? You go to a place and it's supposed to be this amazing experience, but then you kind of go back in your head to these moments on the road, right? The sun rising, paint flying everywhere. Your friends are with you, and the ladies are there too, looking as great as they always do. And it's just such a spiritual moment that you just can't be replicated in any other environment. And the fact that this comes from our small twin island republic and it's just so unique. Um, that's something that I feel as though makes it hard for me to have a good time elsewhere, but it also has driven me to do my best to recreate those environments and places where people need it. And Los Angeles is a city where I think a lot of young people are not given a chance to break free and express themselves. And Junkyard Juve has done that for them, right? To the point where we have thousands of people coming to this thing to say, and this is this is what they say verbatim. They want to feel free, and Juve helps them do that. And we do it on Juneteenth, which is Emancipation Day for African American people, and historically Juve is a celebration of emancipation.
Yeah.
And then we do it again mid-September, which is a big celebration of sovereignty for Belize, which is the biggest kind of Black immigrant / Black Caribbean community in LA.
Yeah, so you see, that's one of the things I mentioned in the beginning. Your awareness of what is it? Is it just diasporic events, or is it political awareness? What is it? What makes you align your events and your work to to things like that, to Juneteenth, to emancipation celebrations, or anything like that? What is it about? Is it something in the event, the festival itself? Is it just the holidays you get? What is it that causes you to make that kind of alignment?
Well, I feel as though, and I think a lot of people feel the same way, that a lot of our pillars, the cultural pillars of entertainment, are being industrialized and commercialized and commoditized, right? Where a lot of the dimension, right? And when I say dimension, the things that are not political and things that are political is just kind of like dimension are being flattened into a luxury product, right? And that is a story that is being told to the masses, especially the international masses. Of course, there are things in our culture that really ring very loudly as political, but they kind of get overshadowed by some of these other things that are shinier or sexier, etc. You know, when you look at Grenada and you look at Spice Mass, you know, the job is something that is so central to that the political and the African roots of it could never ever be buffed out, right?
Right.
With Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago, we have those roots and we have those elements, but they aren't necessarily centralized in the same way that, you know, carnivals in, let's say, Grenada have Jab, and I think is Martinique have the Negmaron. So for me, being in the entertainment capital of the world, the entertainment industry capital of the world, Los Angeles, California, is a really it's fertile ground to plant some of those seeds to help people understand that, you know, Juve, yeah, sure, it is wine and jam, of course, right? But when you peel back just one layer, as if you just look a little bit more closely look closely at it, you will see that it is very much something that harkens back to that ancestral struggle for emancipation.
Right.
And there are ways to honor that without it being over intellectualized or you know, too high concept or high artistic concept for young people not to understand. So for me, it's almost like a laboratory to explore ways to engage young people in things that have this history and have these roots and have these elements without necessarily alienating them, because there is an argument that you can't do both. And my argument is that you can.
That's a perfect job for a marketing professional. You don't say?
You know? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this year, what I
yeah.
did, you know, I had 3,000 people come out in suit and tie to play Juve, right? The idea is people came out as dirty politicians, right? In that Juve is, you know, we're supposed to wear things. It's you know, we're supposed to dress like the dirtiest people in the world, right? So instead of just wearing a jersey that we give you, let's dress like the actual dirtiest people in the world, and those are politicians, right? Given what's going on in the U.S., given what's going on at home in Trinidad, given what's going on around the world, politicians and public figures that are in elected positions are really doing things to set people back generations, you know, just in the interest of profit. So to kind of bring that idea to life, we made it mandatory to wear a suit and tie to get into this thing. And
mandatory.
Mandatory. If you're not wearing a suit and tie, you outside.
With a ticket.
And with a ticket.
Wow.
Yeah. And 3,000 people came. 3,000 people came out in suit and tie playing Juve. Like, it was madness.
Right.
And, you know, it proves that you could do these things once the theme is well communicated and the environment is immersive. So we turned the entire venue into like an office. So we had desks, we had phones, computers, office chairs, fax machine,
Nah, that's real. That
printers.
is real wildness, Adam.
Yeah, yeah. So people were on the phone whining, it was madness. People brought their briefcase, you know, if you bought a bottle, it comes in a carry-on suitcase,
Mm.
all kind of foolishness. So it's really about trying to
Yeah, I mean it's mass, right? So
commemorate.
is
Is
a
mass,
is a
exactly.
portrayal
Is
is yeah,
mass,
is a mass band really. That.
exactly.
Mm, wow.
And these people that came, they never experienced Juve before, So giving them this first experience with that level of mass just sets them up to come to Trinidad and seek out some of these things that have that
Mm,
same energy, because
right.
it's there, it's just not necessarily, they don't necessarily have the same amount of money to market themselves the way some of these bigger bands and bigger events do, so
Right. So,
yeah.
all right. So we still tracking your movements, eh? Born in Trinidad,
Hmm.
um, grew up for formative years Venezuela, correct?
Hmm.
High school, college slash university, US.
Yep.
Then into professional life, marketing. You said first job was with Nike, and then
Hmm.
so at what?
Move back to Trinidad.
Because I know you from the marketing side, working
Hmm.
with agencies in Trinidad. That's how we met.
Right.
So all right, so
Hmm.
that was soon after you came back. After how long?
I left at 5, moved back at 25, 24, 25.
Wow. Okay. Mm.
Yeah. And that was,
Explains the accent.
yeah, it's like I'll never forget a time you said that, I downloaded my accent from the Apple Store. I'll never forget that.
I told you that.
Yeah, yeah. For those of you listening, this Valdez Brooks you're listening to here, this journalist Valdez, this man tongue sharp, like yeah, serious. But yeah, I moved back at 25, and
I should have wrote that down. That was a good line.
no, yeah, you need to use it again. Yeah, move.
Uh, where did he go? Seem to be having some little glitches here. So bear with us. It was going good too. How are we looking there, Chief? Sounding like something happening. Crossing the fingers.
I'm here.
Yeah, you here? I'm hearing you.
Yep.
Yeah. Just need to get
All
you
right.
back on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
screen.
yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
So
Keep
yeah,
going
but
on. Mm.
moving back to
Yeah, what else?
Trinidad at 25 is what launched my marketing and design career.
Mm.
Like of course, yeah, Nike is good to have on my resume, but it was the experience that I got in Trinidad that really set me up for lifelong success. I worked with some incredible folks down there. Amazing designers, amazing strategists,
Mm.
incredible copywriters, incredible photographers, filmmakers, just producers, just the talent in Trinidad and the quality of people that I was blessed to be around at 25 years of age.
Mm.
You really challenged me to be that person that my mother was telling us to be, right?
Right.
Like my mother
Mm.
being this UE attorney and pushing the limits and being someone committed to excellence. Being in Trinidad is what is at 25 exposed me to exactly that. So, all of my design literacy, all of my marketing literacy,
Mm.
all of my literacy around art. You know, you and I, Valdez, share a lot of friends, have a lot of friends in common that are
Listen,
doing amazing things in the contemporary art
I wanna
space.
have like I wanna have
Um,
like 3/4 of them on this show.
right, you know, uh, that just kind of changed my worldview in a way that I don't think I would have been able to achieve if I was in New York,
Mm.
right? I think I would have been a very one-dimensional, like money, 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 money
Oh,
type of
right.
person if I was just in New York at 25, you know? So I moved back to Trinidad. I worked for an agency out there, Above Group, big up all my Above Group people that might be
Yeah.
listening. And that again,
Oh yeah,
just
I think Shy Guy listening. Oh shucks, I should be checking the YouTube page. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, 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 small thing. And yeah, that just set me up for the kind of success that I've been seeing when living in Los Angeles now. I could never thank everybody in that chapter of my life enough.
Right.
It's and you being one of them. And I appreciate you thinking of me for this.
Thank you, my
It
guy.
was
Well
for
listen,
sure, for sure, for sure.
just the name alone, I was like, I cannot not have Adam on this show. And knowing the bit that I know of your history and your upbringing and from where we met to where you are now is a completely different change. I want to know what caused the first party, the first junkyard juve. Walk us through setting it up, like functionally. How did this thing happen? Because I know you would have had a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah. So moving to Los Angeles, I moved to Los Angeles to work in advertising. I landed a job at a big agency in LA, and living in Trinidad and starting my marketing career in Trinidad. We romanticize some of the marketing disciplines in North America, right? I was a strategist at the time, and some of the most influential strategists in the world are based in the US. So when I got to LA, I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna be doing this level of strategy and creative development, this, that, and the other. As soon as I walked into that office, I was like, okay, I was mistaken. And it was just dry. It was dry. It was miserable. The people, it was rough, bro. Like it was like I was like, what did I do? Why did I leave Trinidad?
Mm,
And I just realized that I wasn't gonna ever do the level of work that I really wanted to do, working for these white people, basically. And I decided, I have to take it into my own hands. I have to do the work that I want to do. I can't wait for nobody to give me the work that I want to do.
mm,
So in 2013, I moved into this big loft. This was back, 2013. These massive lofts in downtown LA was still relatively affordable.
right.
Nobody wanted to live downtown. It was real homeless people, dangerous.
Mm.
I'm like, I grew up in
In
Caracas.
Caracas.
I could deal with homeless people downtown.
Yeah.
So I got this big. You should have seen this place. 2 floors, 2,200 square feet. It was like one of those lofts from on TV. And I
I
just
think I
started
did see it.
throwing parties in there.
It was in a magazine, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It was, yeah, that was the beginning.
Right.
Throwing parties there, just trying to connect different sounds from the diaspora
Mm,
to just kind of like it's all percussive, right? And it's all stuff inspired by West African music and so
right.
on. So it's like draw the connections. And I did that for about 5 years. Just use the warehouse underground raves committed to Pan-African electronic sound, you know?
Mm.
And March 2018, you know, we breaking down yet another underground party. And the venue owner, solid fella, big up man like Rob. He was very hands-on with his venue. So he's
Mm.
cleaning up and we cleaning up, right? And again,
That is a serious
raised
bit
by
of cleaning up.
Trinidadians,
Yeah.
right? It's like leave the people place better than you
Then you
found it,
found it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we clean and clean and clean, and it's like 6 in the morning, right? Just trying to make sure everything's shining. And there was some I can't remember what it was, but it was some equipment in a corner that we needed to move to sweep up. And you know, I asked Rob, I'm like, yo, where should I put this stuff? And he was like, yo, don't worry about that. I'll move it and put it in the yard. And I was like, you
You
have a
have a
yard?
yard?
And up until that point, it had been a year that I had been kind of just like turning this idea of a Juve in LA
Right.
around in my head, and I was just waiting for the right opportunity to do it.
Mm.
So he was like, yeah, it's just a couple doors up the road right here. I'm like, when we finish here, let's go take a look at this yard.
Right.
And we walked up to the yard. He opened the gate, and it was a junkyard. And I literally said it. I vocalized it. I said, junkyard Juve. June, how much you rent this out to me in June? He gave me a number. I started doing the research around the kind of paint that's safe for people,
Mm.
you know, how to rig up a system that is not going to get wet, what time I should do it, all the things. And then June 2018 was the first one. We had about 500 people come out, and it was kind of like a bat signal, right? It was like, Juve, and then Finney just came out of nowhere like, Juve?
Right. So
Right? And just
right.
people
So as you
started
say,
coming
Trinis
out.
came out from out of nowhere. How big is the Trini contingent, the Trini community, or by extension Caribbean community, because they would understand Juve as well. But how big is the Caribbean / Trinidadian community, and how big is the population in LA?
Well, the Trinidadian community specifically is small but loud, right? So in the 90s and 2000s, there was a restaurant called Treehouse. And that restaurant was basically a meeting point for all of the artists and creatives that would come to the city. But even though it's small there, they were very much connected to the culture makers, right?
Right.
A lot of the soca artists and calypsonians and whatnot will pass through Treehouse. So they were able to develop a carnival there that you know, had heavy hitters from Trinidad come through. What supplements that is the Belizean community, right? Belize is in Central America, and they have a big group of people that are of Jamaican descent coming up from Panama.
Right.
They have a lot of people that are Garifuna. Garifuna
yeah.
being, yeah, you know, they came over from St. Vincent in the 19th century and whatnot, and they are the authors of Punta music. And because of that, and then of course,
Also,
they have
as well.
a strong.
They have a strand of parang that they practice as well. I think it's parang or something like that. The Garifuna.
Absolutely, definitely. And because of that heritage, they have an affinity for soca. They have an affinity for dancehall, and they have carnival there. They have Juve there. So between the Trinidadians and the Belizeans, the beginning of Juve was a nice, you know, show of force of about 500 people.
Right.
The following year, that number tripled, you know, and we outgrew the yard. Then 2020 came, pandemic came around. The first one after that was 2021. It dropped back down to about 600. 2022, we did 800. 2023, 2,000. 24 and 25, 3,000.
Right. So you're always on a on an increase, always growing every year.
Yeah, and it's American folks that are really, really show. Those are the numbers,
Mm.
right? Is American people that never felt that feeling before, and people, their friends talk to them about it, like I, they never felt that ecstasy of just being free of worry of how they're looking or how they sounding, how they moving. It's something that really they only describe as feeling free.
Mm.
You know, we get a lot of messages about that, like especially from the women. They say we never felt this free ever in our lives. You
Free.
know,
That's a
free.
yeah. That's an interesting word to use because what's the alternative and in what context they're using that idea of freeness? How they experiencing it?
I think they're experiencing it from a point of expressing sexuality, first of
Mm.
all, you know, just being able to like bend and twist however they want.
Right.
Uh, but then also, you know, Los Angeles is a very image driven city,
Mm.
right? If you're not driving this, if you're not wearing that, if you don't, if your body don't look like this, right? There's a lot of pressure in that space, and it manifests in some of the most toxic ways in the hip hop space,
Right.
right? So them coming to a space where they're hearing music that they never heard ever in their life, and we're very committed to evangelizing the music. We don't play rap or anything that they might know. It's all soca, all bouillon. Um, for them to come to this, hearing this music, and then feeling no pressure at all to uphold a certain posture or an image or whatever, I think that is basically is what they consider being
Yeah,
feeling
so
free
they
in
could
a
be, you know,
dance.
overtly or expressive sexually uh without getting harassed, essentially.
That part, but also too, not having to worry about your clothes,
Mm.
you know, not having to worry about like, oh, this
Or
outfit
the
or
image, right.
the image.
Mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
That is interesting. But we'll take a little break because we have to remind the people that we need some help keeping the show going. So we'll take a little word from Donate 68. But before we go, when we come back, I want to talk about something specific. I want to talk about your highlights and your big gigs, right? So pop the picture, the skipper. I want you to I want you to explain who is this young lady you signed up with here and how this came to happen. We're going to a break now.
Need to raise funds for your next creative project, event, or invention? Or maybe you or a family member are raising funds for much needed medical treatment. Now, you can get started raising that much needed cash via Donate68.com, the newest 100% homegrown crowdfunding platform in Trinidad and Tobago. Donate68.com accepts donations from all major credit cards, but not only that, for those without a credit card, you can use your everyday Visa debit card to make donations. So log on today and create a campaign for your next passion project, startup, or cause. Share your campaign with your community of family, friends, and supporters to get the financial backing you need. Donate68.com, funding your culture.
Right, welcome back. Welcome back. We still have Adam Cooper, aka Foreigner, on the line with us, and we we left to go to the break with a sneak peek. Yeah, a sneak peek of a highlight of his career. I would be brave enough to say that. So we want to talk about the big gigs now, the real highlights, and the point where you realize, listen, this thing really working. The work you put in so far is paying off, and you're starting to see some returns and, getting notoriety and all of that. And starting with this one, who's this young lady here?
That is, you dig this one up.
Yeah.
That's Madonna.
I
That's
did what I
Madonna,
dig-
the one
I
and
dig
only
dive.
Madonna. Yeah.
How, Adam? How?
Uh, I wasn't prepared for this. So Diplo is a big supporter of the events that that I've been doing.
Nice.
He's a fan of Roblox, fan of Juve. As you know, with Major Lazer, Caribbean culture is a huge source of inspiration for
Yeah.
them.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to experience something close to the authentic culture in LA is something that Major Lazer and Diplo, they really, and Mad Decent by association, they really appreciate. So LA is a place where all of these people just kind of like hover around in a very casual but eerie way. And Madonna is one of those folks that was just really eager to have just electronic African hard-hitting sounds at her Halloween / housewarming party in 2021. Wes hit me up. It was just a text. He was like, "Yo, you available to DJ a Halloween party at Madonna's house this weekend?"
Oh, they said at Madonna's house?
Yeah. He's just like, "Yo, for Madonna." Da, 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 da. I said, "Yeah, why not?" So rocked up and settle that whole situation down. It was and they really wanted to hear like hard hitting like Afro house. This is before Afro house became what it is now.
Right.
It was very much a source of creative inspiration for artists, right? It didn't really become a mainstream thing, so they wanted to hear that. And just Lil Wayne showed up, came straight to the DJ booth. I was starstruck, and dapped me up. Good energy all around, amazing people. It was such an honor playing that party.
Nice. But so I want to talk about another big one you had, the Boiler Room session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Boiler Room was a big deal when you did it. So how did that link up happen?
Well, it harkens back again to being in Trinidad, right? When I was in Trinidad in 2010, that's when I first learned about Boiler Room. And
yeah, that was the
really
hipster music podcast at the time.
You already know. So I'd been a huge fan of what they had been doing, and being a part of the underground community in LA. They would come to my events and listen to music and hear certain things. So the first Boiler Room I did that I produced and DJ was in August 2017. I had moved to another loft that was a ground floor loft that had a big parking lot. Boiler Room didn't have a budget per se, but it was important to me to evangelize that kind of like Pan-African electronic sound.
Right.
So empty out the parking lot and did it there. And since then I've produced 3 Boiler Rooms and I've DJ'd 5.
Right, okay. Oh, yeah, so produce 3 and DJ 5.
Yeah, and by produce I mean I also DJ'd those. and
Oh,
then
okay,
also
right,
I
right, right.
DJ two others that I was invited to DJ.
What what do you do as a producer for Boiler Room?
Ev- Everything, you know, design the flyer, find the venue, book the talent, get the insurance, you know, rig up the.
.com, funding your culture. Need to raise funds for your next creative project, event, or invention? Or maybe you or a family member are raising funds for much needed medical treatment. Now, you can get started raising that much needed cash via Donate68.com, the newest 100% homegrown crowdfunding platform in Trinidad and Tobago. Donate68.com accepts donations from all major credit cards, but not only that, for those without a credit card, you can use your everyday Visa debit card to make donations. So log on today and create a campaign for your next passion project, startup, or cause. Share your campaign with your community of family, friends, and supporters to get the financial backing you need. Donate68.com, funding your culture. Need to raise funds for your next creative project, event, or invention? Or maybe you or a family member are raising funds for much needed medical treatment. Now, you can get started raising that much needed cash via Donate68.com, the newest 100% homegrown crowdfunding platform in Trinidad and Tobago. Donate68.com accepts donations from all major credit cards, but not only that, for those without a credit card, you can use your everyday Visa debit card to make donations. So log on today and create a campaign for your next passion project, startup, or cause. Share your campaign with your community of family, friends, and supporters to get the financial backing you need. Donate68.com, funding your culture.